Big Seaweed Search is a joint project between the Marine Conservation Society and the Natural History Museum. It was launched in 2009 and it asks volunteers to identify and record 14 key species of seaweeds found around the UK coastline. Your help as citizen scientists is really important in helping seaweed research.
So why is the Big Seaweed Search so important? Seaweeds are a great indicator of change, and their presence or their absence around the UK coastlines help us to monitor the impacts of climate change, ocean acidification and the rising sea temperatures. Climate change is affecting the planet and the wildlife and even the people too. So it's really important that we act now. As Greta Thunberg says, no one is too small to make a difference, and we can all do at least something to help.
Seaweeds are amazing. They are underwater forests and provide home for many species. They help to store carbon and are used in foods, medicines and cosmetics. They also protect our coast by reducing wave action and storm damage. The UK is home to over 650 species, which includes red, brown and green seaweeds. And let's face it, exploring the beach and rock pooling is so much fun.
So what are we asking you to do? There are 3 key points to the survey. We want you to pick a 5-metre stretch of shoreline to survey, like this one here. All shores are important for seaweed research, but you will find more seaweeds on shores with things like rocks, groins, seawalls and piers, and as many species anchor themselves to these hard structures. Head to the coast and record and photograph as many of the 14 species as possible that are present on your chosen survey stretch. Last but not least, upload your data and your photographs to the Big Seaweed Search webpage. Ideally, start your survey an hour before low tide. You can check tide times at www.tidetimes.co.uk. All you need to do the recording is this leaflet, this recording form, a pencil and a camera or smartphone. Please make sure that you've checked your survey beach for risks and be aware of the tide and other potential risks on the day, such as slippery rocks. As we've mentioned, there are 14 species of seaweed you need to identify. Seaweeds can be separated into 3 groups. These next seaweeds are the seaweeds most affected by sea temperature rise. Dabbalox. Dabbalox has a distinct midrib or line down the middle. Sugar kelp. Sugar kelp has a wrinkled centre and no midrib or line down the middle. Serrated wrack. Serrated wrack has flattened fronds and a toothed edge. Bladder wrack. Bladder wrack has paired air bladders. Knotted wrack. Knotted wrack has narrow, strap-like fronds and single air bladders. Spiral wrack. Spiral wrack grows in a spiral and has goo-filled bladders. Channeled wrack. Channeled wrack has a rolled frond and the stem or stipe is evenly forked. Thongweed. Thongweed has long, narrow straps and starts growing as a small button. Top tip: don't rely too much on colour for identification of these seaweeds, as they can vary a great deal. Instead, look for the key features we've mentioned already, for example, a midrib or line or air bladders. These next seaweeds are non-native seaweeds. Wireweed. Wireweed has dainty leaf-like structures on the stem and tiny round air bladders. Wakame. Wakame has frilly edges and a distinct midrib or line down the middle. It also has finger-like shapes. Harpoonweed. Harpoonweed has harpoon-shaped lancers or javelin-like structures. Bonnie Mason's hookweed. Bonnie Mason's hookweed is soft to touch and has curved hooks. Top tip: It is easier to identify finely branched seaweeds when they are covered by water, as this causes the branches to spread out, showing their key features. The last group of seaweeds are seaweeds that are affected by ocean acidification. Calcified crusts. Calcified crusts are hard crusts on rocks and are shades of pink. Coral weeds. Coral weeds are made of tiny segments and have a stiff, gritty texture when rolled gently between fingers. Top tip. You could easily miss these small seaweeds as they may be covered by the larger and faster growing species. Search carefully by looking underneath the bigger seaweeds and in any rock pools. A really useful point. Seaweeds grow in zones, and certain species like Pelvetia, which is channeled wrack, are found on the high shore. Species such as Dabbalox, Bonimasons, Sargassum, serrated wrack and harpoonweed are found on the low shore or in pools as they really don't like drying out.
There are 6 key steps to the Big Seaweed Search Survey. Step 1, select your survey area. Now the survey area needs to be a 5 metre wide plot that runs from the top of the shore down to the sea. Use a couple of landmarks to mark out your survey area. So they could be natural landmarks, or they could be a couple of things you brought with you. I've brought a couple of buckets to mark out the area. Make sure you've checked the tide tables and make sure that you're doing the Big Seaweed Search Survey on a low tide. Step 2 of your survey. Fill in section 1 of your recording form. Step 3. Starting at the bottom of the shore, closest to the sea and with your back to the sea, take a photo of your plot. So step 4 of the survey, walk away from the sea, carefully exploring the entire area of your survey plot. When you find one of the seaweeds in the Big Seaweed Search leaflet, you should tick it off on your recording form. Take a clear photo showing the identification features of that seaweed and show that the seaweed is attached and growing. You can upload up to 3 photos per species. Also record its abundance. So you can do this as band forming, so bands of seaweed across your plot. It could be patchy, where there are several patches of seaweed across your plot, or it could be sparse, where there is only 1 or 2 patches of seaweed. If you later find a bigger patch of seaweed, update your recording form. Really importantly, only record and photograph living seaweeds, like these ones, not dead ones washed up on the beach. This is because dead seaweeds or unattached seaweeds may have come from a completely different part of the shoreline and they won't accurately show what seaweeds you have on your stretch. These are living seaweeds and you can tell they are attached by gently tugging them just to see whether they are stuck or anchored onto the rocks. Step 5. Tick the absent box on the recording form for any seaweeds that you didn't find on your plot. Step 6, the last step, the really important bit. Enter your results and upload your photos at www.nhm.ac.uk/seaweeds. You can also post your results to the Big Seaweed Search, the Natural History Museum, Cromwell Road, London, SW7 5BD. Your observations will then be included in the museum's seaweed research. So I really hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video and you want to get involved with the Big Seaweed Search. Seaweed research is absolutely vital and so is your help in recording and surveying seaweeds. There's a lot of information on the Big Seaweed Search webpage to help you, so check out www.nhm.ac.uk/seaweeds. You can also email seaweeds@nhm.ac.uk. Thank you for listening. Happy seaweed searching.